All right, and we back on the forecast. Now, it's important that we really start understanding warfare. Not just physical warfare, but psychological warfare. That's why no matter what the situation is, they try to make you look like the criminal and make themselves look like the victim. That's why they can say the kind of things about slavery that they say today. They really think they did a good thing, because if not, we'd be in Africa somewhere praying to a tree. And if you tell yourself that enough times, over time you start to believe it. And even some of us start to believe it. This system didn't get this way overnight. It was built over hundreds of years. And understand, every step of the way we've been fighting back. But a system like this doesn't survive unless a majority of people agree with it. It's the average citizen that they deputize. Every time our communities were physically attacked and burned to the ground and many people killed, it was the poor white class, not the elite. Far too many of them believe the lowest white man is over the highest black man. This the way society was built. One of the most dangerous laws ever passed in America, the Fugitive Slave Act. One of the first laws America passed. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 is in the Constitution. And this gave average white citizens the power to go into other states, to go catch people who escaped slavery. Mind you, this was right after the Revolutionary War, when they gave black people freedom. In many of the states that begged for black soldiers to help them fight, George Washington turned right around and got this law passed. And this law made it dangerous for every black person, because at any time somebody can just kidnap you and then sell you off into slavery somewhere down south. So many people were being kidnapped, they had to pass laws against it. They would take men, women, children, it didn't matter. And then in 1850, they doubled down on the Fugitive Slave Act. Now, if somebody was accused of being a runaway, they didn't even get a fair trial, if they got a trial at all. They paid judges $10 for every person they said was a slave and $5 for every person they said wasn't. Being black in America has always been criminalized. It doesn't matter what you do. And now today, something as simple as driving without a seatbelt can get you shot. In Kansas, a brother, Akira Lewis, was pulled over for driving without a seatbelt and ended up getting shot in the back. So let's see how a simple traffic stop can end up with this brother getting shot.
Hello, sir. Yeah. I'm Officer McCann, Lawrence Police Department. The reason I stopped you, not wearing your seatbelt, okay?
Man.
Hey, man. Yeah. Stop.
What?
Stop.
Man, about a seatbelt, bro. I'm moving, my family homeless. I'm trying to go to fucking work at 6. You gonna stop me for a fucking seatbelt?
If you would like to make a complaint after that, you're more than welcome to do so. Hey, but I'm not going to stand out here and have court with you and have an argument with you on the side of the road. I need your driver's license and your insurance card.
Get the fuck out of my face, man. I'm telling you, bye. I'm already hot. I'm pissed off. Been a long bad day.
I don't want to make the situation any worse than it has to be.
You doing that right now.
You're about to go to jail for a seatbelt violation. Are you really wanting to do that? You could give me your driver's license, I could write you your ticket, and you could drive home.
I haven't done nothing.
You're not wearing your
seatbelt. You just stopped the motherfuckers in front of me for a fucking seatbelt.
I don't care about them right now. I care about you. I can't stop every car on the road.
Let me tell you something. You didn't stop them for a fucking seatbelt, but you're gonna turn around behind me and try to pop me for a fucking seatbelt?
Sir, I can only stop one
all the
car at a
motherfuckers
time.
You were looking at coming down the motherfucking line right there,
I was
man.
not.
Get on with that shit.
Okay.
You fucking my day up. That's what you're doing.
He's going to jail.
How you doing?
Okay.
No, I'm not.
You are.
Don't touch my vehicle. No,
I need you to step out. Step out. Give me your hands. Step out. Hey, don't make this. Don't make this.
Don't talk to me. I want to talk to your motherfucker.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I'm gonna knock you in your mother.
Get out of the car.
I'm not getting out of this car.
Get out of the car.
I'm not.
Get out of the
Please
car.
stop, man.
Sir?
You're messing up my kids' stuff. Please.
672 starts more units.
No. Listen. You came up here and you ain't even listen. Okay, we're gonna see after all these motherfucking people. You let all these motherfuckers.
Accidental police shooting by an officer just 2 months on the job. Newly released video tonight showing an officer struggling with the driver when that rookie officer then came to his aid, mistaking her gun for her taser. Tonight she is facing a felony charge in Kansas, and here's ABC's Adrian Bankert.
It all started with a routine traffic stop.
The reason I stopped you, not wearing your seatbelt, okay?
Man!
In Lawrence, Kansas, police officer Ian McCann pulling over Akira Lewis last May, suspected of not wearing his seatbelt.
You gonna stop me for a seatbelt?
Yes, sir.
Lewis refuses to comply and is heard shouting that he's been singled out. He demands to speak to a supervisor.
You're about to go to jail for a seatbelt violation. Are you really wanting to do that?
Officer Brindley Blood then approaches the passenger side and the two officers attempt to arrest Lewis.
Get out of the car.
I'm gonna knock you in your
car.
I'm not getting out this car.
Lewis and Officer McCann struggling. Lewis lands a punch when Officer Blood yells taser but fires her gun. Wounding Lewis, saying expletive, I shot him. Officer Blood was on the force for just 2 months. She tells investigators she meant to reach for her stun gun instead of her firearm. David, Officer Blood resigned in January. She's charged with reckless aggravated battery and is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. The driver faces multiple charges.
Now, this brother Akira Lewis was pulled over by Lawrence police, Officer Ian McCann. He said for not wearing a seatbelt. And some probably told his brother to pull off, but then he chose not to. So then his brother Akira Lewis asked for the supervisor, but the cop refused. And the cop asked for his license, and he refused until he got a supervisor. So then the cop, Ian McCann, eventually opens his door, even though he told him not to. They literally call it a crime for us not to listen to them, but it's perfectly fine for them to ignore you. Now, they tried to say this brother Akira Lewis was attacking the cop, when clearly the cop instigated. He opened the door, he put his hands on him first. He was going to try to manhandle him, but when he tried to pull him out, they started to struggle. And the brother did warn him he was going to knock him in his head if he tried it. And of course, his brother started getting the upper hand. That's why they always have to attack us in numbers, even when they have weapons. 9 times out of 10, in a fair matchup, one-on-one, it won't end too good for them. But they realize the power in numbers, and we have to realize the power in numbers. When we have enough numbers on the same page, we are powerful. Now, his backup, who was a female cop, Brindley Blood, she tried to get involved and help the other cops. Now, this slow white woman said she meant to pull her taser, but ended up pulling her gun. And then she shot this brother at point-blank range in his back. Now, she was only on the force for 2 months until she was allowed to resign, just in case she wanted to be a cop again somewhere else. But she did get charged, but the judge eventually dropped the case.
New video shows a dangerous confrontation between police and a suspect, and it ended when an officer opened fire. That officer now faces charges, but she claims it was all a mistake.
41 Action News reporter Dia Wall joining us now. So, Dia, explain what happened to us.
All right, guys, a seemingly standard traffic stop last May turned dangerous when a driver refused to share his information, then attacked an officer. That's when a fellow officer pulls her weapon and fires. Now, new video obtained by 41 Action News today shows it all happen. It happens in a matter of seconds. Lawrence police pull Akira Lewis over for not wearing a seatbelt.
Closer.
That escalates into one officer getting attacked.
Look how quickly he takes control of that officer. Look at it. He body slams him to the ground, and now he's punching him.
Seconds later, the other officer, Brindley Blood, shoots Lewis.
Based on what I saw here, I can make some critique, but I don't see this as criminal.
The ACLU of Kansas disagrees in a statement calling the officer's conduct, quote, an unnecessary and excessive use of force.
This is not a matter of someone being shot because they did not have on a seatbelt. This is a matter of someone being shot because he started an assault against a police officer.
Now, a judge will determine if Blood will stand trial for aggravated battery, a felony. The prosecutor claims the officer was negligent when she opened fire. Blood maintains she meant to use her taser, not her gun.
This is not the first time we've heard this situation. And if this is a problem that does recur throughout law enforcement, maybe we need to revisit how we train them, how we carry the taser.
In his experience, former FBI special agent in charge Michael Tabman believes this comes down to a simple question.
What was her intent? Her intent was to protect herself, which was reasonable at that time.
Officer Blood resigned in January. She now faces charges. The judge is expected to render her decision on whether or not this goes to trial later this week.
Now this judge, Peggy Kittel, got on code right away, ruling that evidence didn't show this cop Brindley Blood acted reckless. And then she dismissed the case without prejudice. Of course, the DA said he wouldn't file recharges, but they did go ahead with the charges against his brother Akira Lewis. They charged him with battery against the cop, interfering with law enforcement, driving without proof of insurance, and of course not wearing a seatbelt. They consider you not just blindly obeying cops, obstruction of justice, or in this case, interference with law enforcement. This brother Akira Lewis, who was unarmed and pulled over for a seatbelt, is the only one that got shot and hurt. But he is the only one still facing charges and probably be punished. Meanwhile, in Florida, an unarmed sister, Latasha Walton, she ended up getting shot to death after a traffic stop. So let's see what happened to the sister, Latasha Walton.
To a deadly police-involved shooting that was caught on camera, the driver of a BMW appearing to veer into the path of an FHP trooper who then opened fire. We told you about this story last night. Local 10 News reporter Todd Tonga live now in Northwest Miami-Dade with what we've learned about the woman who died. Todd.
Yeah, Calvin, we have learned that that woman was 32 years old from Pompano Beach. She was the mother of 2 children. FDLE is investigating. This area is now wide open, but you can see all the crime tape still in that trash barrel.
God, yo, boy on his way.
New cell phone video shot by another driver shows an FHP trooper with his gun drawn trying to stop the driver of a white BMW. Another trooper with his gun drawn can be seen at the back of the car. At one point, the car appears to hit the trooper in the front and he falls to the pavement, but gets back up as the car slowly moves forward. At some point, witnesses heard boom, 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 a lot of gunshots, leaving a bullet-riddled BMW and a body underneath a yellow tarp. Family members of 32-year-old Latasha Walton of Pompano Beach say the mother of 2 was the driver shot and killed. They say she was a sweet, caring person who loved her 10 and 16-year-old boys.
I don't agree that they should have killed him or her, whoever it was. I think they should have shot the tires out, but who am I to say?
Heather Romano and her boyfriend saw the whole thing. They also took cell phone video, and you can see FHP take a person into custody. There were 2 FHP cruisers at that scene when shots rang out, and they appeared to box the BMW in, but it is unclear what the traffic stop was for. FHP says only one of the troopers opened fire. Do you believe that the car actually hit the cop?
I saw the cop fall to the ground. I don't know if it's because he moved out the way too quick because he was going to get hit.
Latasha does have an extensive record of traffic infractions, including a few felonies. Back in 2016, May of 2016, she was arrested for driving on a suspended license, also for reckless driving and fleeing and eluding law enforcement officers.
Now, the Florida Highway Patrol said they pulled this sister over because she was driving erratically. They tried to say she was driving right towards the cops. They even said she hit one of the cops, when you can clearly see the cops were nowhere near the front of the car. But their word is supposed to hold more weight than video evidence, when the video clearly shows this fool tripped over the curb, not hit by a car. But the police said that made the cop fear for his life. Ronald Melendez Bonilla opened fire, the only one that opened fire, and he shot into a car with other passengers and hit this sister at least 6 times. And even though they're supposed to be investigating themselves, the police are already caping saying he feared for his life.
Nationally known civil rights attorney is now calling for a federal investigation into a deadly shooting involving a Florida Highway Patrol trooper.
Attorney Benjamin Crump traveling to South Florida today to announce he's calling on Attorney General Bill Barr to look into the matter. Local 10's Leanne Motorhorn is live with more on this. Leanne.
And the shooting happened a week ago today, just feet from where I'm standing. You can see, unfortunately, the bus is blocking it right now, but right behind it is where the vehicle eventually came to rest. There's now a memorial in its place. And we know that the family has hired Benjamin Crump, a very high-profile civil rights attorney, to head up this push. They would like to see a federal investigation into this shooting.
We can't give her children their mother back, but we will give them the justice they deserve.
Family members of Latasha Walton overcome by grief. This after the 32-year-old mother of 2 was shot and killed by a state trooper during a traffic stop at the Golden Glades Park and Ride a week ago. Now, with the help of attorney Benjamin Crump, the family is appealing to the U.S. Justice Department to investigate the shooting.
All parties concerned here seek one thing, and one thing only: a full, fair, and complete investigation by the Department of Justice.
Cell phone video shot by another driver shows Trooper Ronald Melendez Bonilla with his gun drawn, trying to stop Walton behind the wheel of this white BMW that was reported to be driving erratically. The video shows another trooper behind the car, and then Melendez Bonilla falls to the ground. FHP suggests he was knocked over by the vehicle and then was forced to fire, but Crump and the Walton family dispute that.
The car did not hit him. He fell over the curb.
I got so much pain, I feel numb, like it's hard to live without her.
The BMW was left riddled with bullets, with Walton's body beneath a yellow tarp. They say there was no justification for the shooting and want justice to be served.
You could have shot out the tires. You are trained to do other tactics. You don't have to go to the extreme. You don't have to do that. Why?
Now, this sister, Latasha Walton, doesn't really have a criminal record, so they had to go out of the way to bring up traffic infractions. They had to bring up she got caught driving without a license before, even though that has nothing to do with this case. And nothing she did is punishable by death. But they don't care, men, women, children. And there could be video evidence that contradicts their story, but we're supposed to take their word. Now, it shouldn't take so much of our blood being shed for us to get on code, but far too much of our blood has been shed. At some point, enough has to be enough, and we have to realize we are the only people that can stop it. And this time when we build our institutions, we have to be ready to protect it because they are coming. And when we finally realize we're all we got, then maybe we'll start protecting each other because nobody but us is going to do it.
These individuals cannot be denied the power of broadcast media.
One write-in candidate's campaign ads begin and end with a disclaimer.
Hey, white man.
Fraser Glenn Miller urges white people to unite and, quote, take our country back. We asked the write-in candidate why his ads didn't say much about him or his platform.
Well, I give my website, and that's where people can go and learn my positions on all the issues, and I also give my phone number where they can call me.
Phones aren't ringing off the hook at the radio stations Miller paid to play the ads.
Our audience has been through this before.
KRMO and KSWM radio station president Dwayne Gandy says in 2006, the FCC was clear on how to handle Miller's ads.
We would have to play them or be in danger of losing our license.
This year, he says conflicting advice. The Missouri Broadcasters Association asked the Attorney General to rule if Miller is a legally qualified candidate. If not, the FCC rules don't apply.
I've contacted the state's Attorney General, and I've demanded that he arrest them for deliberately interfering in my constitutional rights.
Now, I'm not going to get too upset against somebody making racist remarks because that's their personal problem. Now, when you start inciting people to harm me, or people who look like me, or people who are Jewish, or people who are Muslim, then that's a violation of the law.
Some Kansas City radio stations are donating Miller ad money to the NAACP and Jewish organizations.
The next time the word redneck is stated on their radio program, that they donate the proceeds to the Ku Klux Klan.
This gentleman has probably got more than, got a lot of free publicity associated with these latest developments, which is probably what he wanted to do.
Black Student Union at K-State holding an emergency meeting. This after an African-American student's car was painted with racist remarks. New at 6:30, 41 Action News reporter Belinda Post talked with a student who says the atmosphere must change on campus and in this part of the country.
The Black Student Union says it'll be talking about how to stop racism on campus, and that's because there have been 4 racist incidents in the Manhattan area since April.
I was really disappointed and angry, so angry my blood boiled.
That was Allie Asplin's reaction when she saw a car with racist remarks written all over it. Things like date your own kind and die, not to mention the N-word painted on the car repeatedly. Riley County Police say it happened early this morning, a few minutes away from campus.
In all honesty, I wasn't 100% shocked.
Just 2 weeks ago, a racist Snapchat outraged students. It showed 2 people in white raincoats with the caption, "Newest members of the K-State Cool Kids," spelled with 3 Ks. Asplin wants K-State to crack down on cases like this.
The administration simply apologizes. They don't take any kind of appropriate stance on it. And because it happened off campus, they're not liable.
KSU posted a release of what happened, telling anyone to call police who had any information. There's a $1,000 reward from Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, Asplin and other students wanted to start a GoFundMe page to pay for any damages, but the victim declined.
That kid really didn't deserve what happened. Again, within the middle of midterms and everything going on.
Police say that this is still early on in the investigation, but they could charge it as a criminal threat, and that's because the word "die" was painted on the car.
Man of my business. Eating some oatmeal. How you doing?
You got a room out here?
Yeah.
Which one?
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because you're on the lot, and I don't know if you have a room.
I got a room.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you which room you're in. Okay, you got your ID?
Mm-mm. What are you bothering me for?
Do you have your ID?
Yeah.
Okay, can you grab it, and I'll let you know everything? Okay, can you take it out and pass it to me?
No. If you're not bothered, if you don't have a reason, I'm not passing you my ID.
I do have a reason.
For what?
Once you get it, I'll let you know.
What?
Go ahead and grab your ID, and then we'll go from there.
Let me show you one more card before you want to continue to fuck with me, alright?
I didn't curse at you. There's no reason to curse at me.
I ain't cursing. I'm angry. Let me show you one more card so you can go ahead on about your business.
I don't know what that card means. You can go ahead and pass me your ID.
There you go.
No, ask for your ID.
That's me.
You can pass me your ID when you pass me that.
I won't. There y'all see me showing him my ID. That's all my information about me right there. Anything he want to ever see about me right there. DCJS. Right there. Even social security card if you want to see. See all those documents? This man had no reason to be bothering me. I'm sitting in the car in the middle of the night eating my food, not bothering nobody. Just came from McDonald's, eating my food. Sit there, Richmond. He been knocking for about 10 minutes. Strapped up like a bodyguard in this bitch. I don't give a fuck. Who gonna check me? Nobody. Not this no life ass fuck. He just gonna stay right there knocking for the rest of his life. His partner done went over there and set his ass down.
Mr. Williams, what room you staying in, man? Mr. Williams. Permit? Yeah. What room you staying in, man? Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams?
I'm not talking to y'all. If y'all wanna...
You have to crack your window again like you did. What'd you say?
I'm not talking to y'all. Y'all have no reason to be talking to me right now.
So why did I come over here and talk to you then?
Because you've been a police officer.
That doesn't make sense.
That's what y'all do.
You never met me before. You don't know what I do.
I don't care what you do.
You don't have to care. You just don't know. What room you staying in, Mr. Williams? We've been gone by now. I don't know why you're acting.
You still gonna be gone. I don't give a fuck. You can stay in for the rest of the night. That's not gonna make or break me.
You don't want to talk to me, correct? Correct? What room you staying in, Mr. Williams?
These niggas hate that shit. Look at these niggas, Richmond. Look at these niggas. They hate this shit. They hate it.
What room you staying in, Mr. Williams?
And I just be chilling.
You got a firearm in the car, Mr. Williams?
Plenty.
Plenty?
Dozens.
Hmm?
Dozens of firearms.
Okay. What room you staying in, man?
Don't worry about it.
You on the lot?
I'm ready to go to the room as soon as you get out of my face.
What room you staying in?
You can see me go to it as soon as you get the hell out of my face.
Am I?
You probably do if you sit around here waiting in the parking lot.
Oh, sitting waiting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
See them wait patiently.
I'm sorry, what? So now you want to talk? So now you want to talk? Good, yes or no?
I like my new phone.
You do, obviously.
A local organization claims racism within DPD is a much more widespread issue than just one isolated precinct. The claims come in a new report delivered to City Council by the Coalition Against Police Brutality. Larry Spruill got his hands on the report. He joins us now live from Detroit Police Headquarters downtown. Larry.
Good evening, Devin and Karen. This is that 7-page report that organization presented to City Council. It outlines racism and several other issues here within DPD. And now they want City Council to confront Chief Craig.
We believe that racism exists in more than the 6th precinct. We believe it's throughout the department.
It's a bold statement, and Chris White with Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality tells me the organization stands behind it 100%. That's why they addressed Detroit City Council with 3 recommendations after Chief Craig mentioned racial issues within the 6th precinct. The organization is urging the council to call a public hearing on police misconduct in Detroit. They are calling for a full audit of the Detroit Police Department, not just the 6th precinct, and they also want City Council to question Detroit Police Chief James Craig about his rationale for dismissing the findings of the CORE, or the Committee on Race and Equality report. White tells me the report reveals a climate of racism, a corrosive culture within DPD, also includes 23 recommendations to fix these issues.
When the report was released that revealed that racism was widespread, the chief dismissed the report as rumor and innuendo. Our position is, had he taken the recommendations of the report, 23 which were made, and began implementing them, what happened with Ariel Moore would not have ever happened.
And I did reach out to Chief Craig and DPD. A spokesperson for his office tells me that he did not dismiss the CORE report. It just was simply that there wasn't enough information to validate those claims. Now, as for an audit on the whole entire department, they say that Chief Craig says, as of right now, he does not feel that the department needs a full audit for the whole department right now. We're live at DPD headquarters tonight. Larry Spruill. Local 4.
Well, Larry, has the group had a chance to talk with the chief directly about this?
And Devin, I asked the group, did they actually speak with Chief Craig about this report? They tell me not right now. They haven't got a chance to, but they are looking forward to that meeting. Meanwhile, they say Chief Craig knows how to get in contact with them as well.
Tonight, a South Florida family is outraged by this image right here and others. They say North Miami Beach police used it and the images of 5 other minorities as targets during weapons training.
People that are out there supposed to be protecting us are using us as target practice.
The department conducting that training says it has halted the practice for the moment, but the family questions why officers were ever firing at targets with images of real people. Now, in this case, all of them were African Americans.
And the family says it shows a lack of sensitivity, especially now when relations between police and minorities across the country are so tense.
This is where the controversy comes in. 6 minorities down here who are depicted. These are the photographs that were used out here. And this particular picture right here, amazingly, this man right here, his sister, showed up on the weapons range.
And I was like, why is my brother being used for target practice?
It was here on the Medley Range last month when the targets were used in training for North Miami Beach Police Department snipers. Shooting range records show that after the police left, the Florida National Guard came in. That's when the guardsmen saw what police had left behind.
They were all black males.
Among the photos, her brother Woody's mugshot, taken 15 years ago.
There were like gunshots there. And like, I cried a couple times.
When she said, oh my God, they use you as target practice. The picture actually has like, bullet holes in, one in my forehead and one in my eye. I was speechless. I'm being used as a target, and I'm not even living that life according to how they portrayed me as, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a career man. I work a 9 to 5.
This indicates North Miami Beach Police Chief J. Scott Dennis defends the department's use of actual photographs, saying the technique is widely used and the pictures are vital to facial recognition drills.
Our policies were not violated. There is no discipline that's forthcoming from the individuals regarding this.
The chief says the fact that the targets were all African American did not mean there was any racial profiling.
As we utilize an array of pictures, and we'll have 6 pictures of people that look very similar. We have an array for black males. We have an array of white and Hispanic males.
However, he says he is disturbed by the use of this particular photo.
What we are very, very concerned about is the event that occurred here, because it happened to be someone that was arrested by this agency. That individual would be somebody that would be on the streets of North Miami Beach.
We spoke with federal and state law enforcement agencies and 5 separate police departments here in South Florida who have SWAT and sniper teams. Each told us that they only use targets coming from a commercial vendor and never fire at photos of real human beings, ever.
Automatically in his mind, he's going to think target, target, target.
So they're seeing them as criminals before they even get a chance to I surrender.
Now, the police chief says that the sniper team has minority officers on it. He says his department will resume use of the human image targets after it expands the number of images in its inventory. He also says his men will not be using any booking photos from suspects they have arrested. Now, lastly, he says he's going to direct his officers to remove these targets after they use the range.
So you can't take my order. You won't understand what I'm saying?
One woman's frustrating trip through the drive-thru has gone viral on social media, and it's sparking a conversation about language. That driver is visibly upset because the employee at a Taco Bell drive-thru in Hialeah didn't speak English. We spoke with that driver, and Taco Bell has taken action. Local 10 News investigator Jeff Weinseer is on this story. He's live with the details. Jeff.
Laura, you're about to see it yourself. A Taco Bell employee refusing to take an order, actually telling a customer to go to another location because that order wasn't placed in Spanish. Take a look.
Nobody here speak English. Nobody in the back speak English.
At this Taco Bell drive-thru, no Spanish, no service.
Excuse me, I'm trying to order food and
no hay nadie que hable inglés.
Alexandra Montgomery thought it was a joke and pulled out her camera.
Okay, but I want to order food.
No hay nadie que hable inglés. Te puedes mover,
that
por
doesn't
favor.
make any
No hay
sense.
nadie que hable inglés.
You're not making any sense.
Okay.
You don't have a manager here?
En su casa durmiendo.
The annoyed Taco Bell employee says the manager is home sleeping.
She was replying to what I was saying in English, but she was replying in Spanish. So it's like, okay, I think you understand what I'm saying.
It was 10:30 Wednesday night. Montgomery went to this Taco Bell at 785 East 9th Street in Hialeah. The employee tells Montgomery that this is Hialeah, to move on. There are cars behind her, and even gives her the address of another Taco Bell.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't mean nothing because this is Hialeah, but this is America.
2 other Taco Bell workers approach the drive-thru window when they hear the altercation, but no one helps Montgomery out.
You understand what I'm saying? So if I say I want a number 6 on the menu, you can put that on the computer and take my order. Don't tell me you can't take my order because you don't speak English. No comprendo.
We went to Taco Bell today.
You speak English?
Yes.
I can order in English, right?
Yes.
What happened the other night?
No comment.
No comment.
I'm not mad or anything, but I just feel totally disrespected.
And in a statement to Local 10 News this afternoon, a spokesperson for Taco Bell said, quote, "This does not meet our customer experience expectations. We have worked quickly to resolve with the customer to ensure this doesn't happen again." Lori Calvin, no one here will tell us if that employee that you saw in the video still has a job today.
Friends, we have enough humans on the planet. We don't need any more humans. It is not okay for women to have babies and stop contributing to the process. We don't need children. If you find yourself pregnant, there are options, and you can have an abortion. No babies. Cut off the baby factories.
Trump is going to go exactly down the road, probably as fast as possible, into what Obama calls the worst possible outcome, which is widespread famine, widespread drought, civil unrest, total collapse of social structures.
That's true. You keep going up and we'll start pumping up dead children behind you saying, follow that bird, follow.
I think that's a good use of the
follow the soul who's going up.
That's true.
Leading a large children's crusade of refugees.
Yeah, that's true.
A caravan of children.
Going upward.
Dead children going upward.
The warmongers are writing history for this country, or those who believe a diplomatic solution would be the way to go are writing history for this country. And they'll go away.
Or maybe I'll forget about it.
Maybe I'll forget about it and then I'll feel better and I can sleep.
Especially if I take my pills
Well,
to
now
sleep.
I absolutely want to take my pills.
All you need to do is shut the fuck up and leave them alone. Who gonna make me shut up? Who gonna make me shut up? I will if you don't shut up. What you want to do? Oh! 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 Kill! Kill!